Okay, we are live. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining again. I know we took a long time before we had this particular live session, but like I had mentioned earlier, also, I was not keeping so well. And then it was Christmas break, and then school started. So today I thought, okay, I will do this session because tomorrow I have a session with my PYP teachers. So I thought that let me have a first round with us here, and then I can see how it will go tomorrow. And then I'll give you a feedback also. We can come back again and talk about what their learnings were, and then we can look at our learnings also over here. So it's good that we have at least 6 people here because I have some tasks. I have 3 data tasks where then I can divide 2 people each to in their breakout room, and we can discuss about the data that is presented. Yeah. So today's session is titled How to Use Assessment Data to Improve Instruction. Okay, so we use a lot of data in our classes. Okay, we use a lot of formative assessments, summative assessments, pre-diagnostic tests, and all these are data that we collect from our students. Now, what do we do with this data? Okay, how can we use this data that we have collected to improve our teaching and learning in our classes? Okay, so we are going to know more about it in today's session. So, what is the purpose of today's session? Is first one, it is to understand what counts as data, specifically in the PYP. I'm taking examples of PYP here, but you can transfer this knowledge into your context also. It is not that you cannot transfer whatever you are learning over here. So the data that I'm going to give you will be of PYP, but you can look at your data and you can interpret your understanding according to what you have learned here in your classroom and in your data. Okay. So you will explore the different forms of assessment data. So you have different types of data. So you will look at those which are available in the PYP. And in this particular session, you will also practice how to interpret data. So I will give you samples where you will think about what data is presented and how are you going to interpret this data. So you will develop skills in analyzing student work and assessment results to identify patterns and insights. So you will derive insights from the data that I give you so that you can look at what kind of patterns are you observing, and looking at those patterns, what should be the strategies that you should that you should use in your class in order to improve instruction. And then the last part of this session would be to apply strategies to improve learning and instruction. So we will discuss about different practical approaches which will help you to use the different data that you have got so that you can improve your or enhance your teaching practices and your student outcomes will become better. Okay, so this is the main agenda of today's session. So look at these data samples that you see. Okay, the pictures that you see. Sample 1 is some data, sample 2 is another data, and sample 3 is another type of data. Can you tell me what do you see in these 3 samples? And what do you wonder? When you look at these samples, what questions is raised about student learning? Anyone? Or if you want to put in the chat also, you can chat, you can type it, or if you want to unmute yourself and talk about it, you are most welcome. So sample 1, you can see that there are some data there, mathematics, okay, where you can, the teacher has put cross and she's put some feedback there. The second sample looks like a reflection sheet. And the third sample again looks like a task where the teacher has given them to draw something. So
Yeah.
what is
Can I
the
talk
kind of
about it?
evidence? Yeah, tell me, Jyoti.
So I can see that sample work is math worksheet. We can see some calculations. I can see that student has solved the equation maybe. There are some answers correct and some of them are crossed out. So
Okay.
basically, student is showing steps rather than I can say the final answers.
Okay.
And then I wonder that do they understand the math concepts or they're just doing the small calculation mistakes, something like that.
Okay.
Sample 2 is reflection. I think I can say that a student has shown the reflection or the growth and they're writing, I can see the picture like maybe talking about some self-awareness or maybe showing some personal connection, something like that. And what do you wonder? Maybe how much support do they get to write whatever they have written?
Okay.
Like, yeah. Sample 3 is as the what do you call that? Heading says ecosystem. Then I think it's a concept map because it looks like a concept map about the ecosystem. Some people call it mind map also, but it's more of a concept map. And obviously, I can see that vocabulary is also used properly, and there are some connections which is being shown. And what do you wonder? I wonder that the concept map is written properly, but does the student also explain it verbally equally nice or not? Something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Jyoti. Anybody
Yeah,
else wants to talk about what do you see and what do you wonder?
Reflection. Yeah, like in second also, ma'am, we can see the reflection of growth, and in both the samples, first and third, I think light reflection is there.
Okay.
So, or I have to explain that what we are able to see in these samples, like.
So if we are talking about assessment data, okay, so what kind of assessments are these? What do you think? What kind of assessments are these? What examples of assessments do you think are these?
Formatives, by and
I
large.
think
Formative.
I think sample 1 and sample 3 is formative, but sample 2 can be considered as a summative because a student is writing about his own reflection on growth, or maybe the how did he or she grow over time on something.
Okay, and can't sample 1 be a summative?
Could be, but it depends upon the task specific clarification that what kind of task has been given.
Tajmi, you want to say something?
Sorry, Ms. Ashika, I was even thinking about the reflection, that it could be even the end of the formative assessment after the teacher has completed teaching a particular strand.
Right.
The student is
It could be also at the end of a summative assessment. After the summative assessment is done, then the student writes the reflection.
Yes.
So then it is self-assessment, right? It's a form of self-assessment. The students are assessing themselves and then they are reporting on it, right? Do we agree?
Sample 1.
Yes.
Yeah,
sample 1. Yeah, sample 1 can also be a diagnostic assessment, right? Because it can also help you to prepare, means it can help educated to prepare for their class, like
right.
to get a
So
sense.
prior knowledge, to get a sense of what is the
Checking
prior
for
knowledge
prior
of the
knowledge,
students. Okay, so do you agree that these are different types of data and you also collect these data in your classes, right? Then after collecting this data, then what do we do? What do we do about it?
We plan the teaching process.
Okay, all right. So you will further plan your instruction based on the data that you collect. Okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now if you look at the PYP, what is data? Okay, what can you collect as data? So you can collect observations. PYP is mostly, especially with the early years, okay, where they cannot write. Okay, and they cannot, maybe they cannot even speak fluently. Okay, so what teachers can do is they can make anecdotal notes about the students' learning. They can have a checklist. Okay, is the student able to recite A to B or A to Z? Okay, a checklist. How many letters did he miss or she miss? Okay, and the documentation of the interactions that they have, especially in the early years where the students have not started writing. Okay, so then how do you collect data? So data could be in the form of anecdotal notes, checklists, or a documentation of the interaction that the teacher must have had with the student. All right. Another type of data would be portfolios. Okay, you collect different student work where you can see the growth and achievement over time. So the portfolio will have student work as and when the student is doing some tasks based on concepts or content or skills. Okay, so portfolio is there. Then you can have quizzes with the students. Okay, and quizzes can be a type of formative checks, formative assessment. Then you can give reflections, like I told you, self-assessment. Reflections are student self-assessments, and they will write about their learning journey. How much have they learned? Summatives would be the end of unit assessments. At the end of the unit, what are we assessing in our students? Assessment of learning, where you are going to measure their learning based on the objectives that you have set. Okay, and the another set of data will be the conferences, structured conversations about their learning with their parents or amongst the students. So conferences, student-led conferences, okay, would be one of the data that you can collect. So what are the different assessment approaches in the PYP? Now, this is not just PYP, MYP, DP, CP, all, Cambridge also, okay? So what are the different types of assessments? You have assessment as learning. So assessment as learning would be peer assessment and self-assessment. Okay, they actively engaged in their own assessment, or they help in the assessment of the your peers. When they are doing the peer assessment also, they are learning twice, right? Yeah. Then you have assessment for learning. Assessment for learning is the formative assessment. What happens is when you give formative assessment, the main intention or the purpose of the formative assessment is to give feedback to the students, how they can improve the skill or the content or the concept in order to do the summative assessment. Okay, so ongoing feedback is formative assessment, assessment for learning. You are testing them so that they learn. And the last would be the assessment of learning. Assessment of learning is summative assessment, where you are measuring their achievement. And summative assessments are done under exam conditions, okay, where student is not given any feedback or support by the teacher. Okay, they will do their assessments on their own. This is clear? Does anybody have any question?
No.
No, ma'am.
Now, after you have got all these data, okay, the different types of data that I have showed, what are you going to do with those assessments? Okay, how will you analyze it? Okay, or what is the protocol that you will follow when you are trying to analyze this data? What you will do is, first you will observe, you will look at the data objectively. You will see what kind of patterns or trends can you see, or if there are any misconceptions that the students are carrying. Okay, and at this time, do not jump to conclusions. You are just observing it. Okay, note down your observations. After that, you interpret. Now you consider what the data is suggesting about the student understanding or student learning, or what misconceptions do the students have. Okay, that is what is interpretation. And then last is act. Act means after you have understood or interpreted the data, Now is the time where you will plan so that you take appropriate instructional changes, okay, based on the interpretation of the evidence. So what are you going to do? Are you going to repeat teaching? Are you going to change the method of teaching? Okay, what are you going to do? That would be the act. Is this clear? So 3 steps
Yes.
after you collect all the data. First, you're going to observe, where you're going to look at trends, patterns, or any wrong understandings, okay, any mistakes that are there, anomalies that are there in the data. Avoid going for getting conclusions, okay. Then second step, you will interpret that data. You will see what the data is telling, okay, and what are the learning needs of your students. And then based on that evidence, you are going to determine appropriate strategies, okay, to reteach instead the things that you have already taught. All right, so now is the time where we are going to put ourselves into groups, okay, or we can have a discussion together. That should not be a problem. Look at the first data set. I will put this picture in the group. Okay. Because I'm going to change the slide. This is one set of data. Okay, this is for math, where you have the different types of performance group. You have the number of students that are there, what is the average score, and what are the common errors that they make. Okay, there are some teacher notes and there are some student reflections. All right, this is one data set. The second data set is this, where we are looking at reading skills, language. Okay, you can see that there are different levels of reading in this data. Okay, you have students who read above grade level, students who read at grade level, and students who read below grade level. So you have the number of students. Now this reading level, okay, at the beginning of the unit, these are the numbers, and at the end of the unit, these are the numbers. Okay, data is given. All right, the running record data is given. And common reading strategies that are used while teaching in the class is predicting, questioning, visualizing, and connecting. So these are the different sheets or strategies that the teacher is using in order to teach reading. And then you have a self-assessment chart where the student writes the reflection. I used to give up when I didn't know a word, but now I try different strategies like looking at the pictures or breaking the word into parts. All right. This is the second data set. The first data set was for math. Second data set is for English. Okay. And the third data set is about a community project, project-based learning, a project that the students are doing in the class. Okay. And a science project. And they are divided into 3 groups. Okay. So one group is inquiring about water conservation. The second group is inquiring about school garden. Okay. And the third group is inquiring about recycling initiative. Okay. So there are 3 different projects given to the groups, and this is what the data is there. Strengths, misconceptions, next steps. Got it? Okay. Now, what is your task? You have to look at all these data, okay, and you have to answer these questions. In the math data, what pattern do you notice? Okay, and why, what might be causing the differences in performance? You can see that there are differences in performance, right? Here. There are 7 students who are performing very high, 92% they have scored. There are 12 students who have scored 78%, but there are 5 students that have got only 45%. Can you see? Okay. So we are saying what patterns did you notice and what might be causing the differences in the performance, and how can we change our teaching? What can we do? Because all are not doing well, right? Reading ATL skill insights. What progress is clear? Which strategies need more help? Okay. And how useful was the self-check? And inquiry task insights. What main ideas do students understand? How can we fix any wrong ideas? And what learning skills need to be better? Okay. So these are the questions. Who wants to go which one? Math, English, and inquiry. I will create 3 rooms.
I would like to go with the inquiry task.
Okay. So I will make 3 rooms. Okay. I'll create
I would
3
like
breakout
English.
rooms. And I will let the participants choose. Room 1, I will rename it as math. If we don't have anyone for math also, it is fine. Okay. Room 2 will be English. Okay. And room 3 will be inquiry projects. Okay. Now, how much time do you need for discussing the 3 questions? 10 minutes?
I think 10 minutes.
10 minutes is fine? Okay.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes. And allow participants to choose room. Automatically move. Okay. So I'm opening up all the rooms. You have I will give you, I put the screenshot of this question also. All right. And you have the screenshots of the 3 tasks also on the WhatsApp group. Okay. Done. So Jyoti, you are going for inquiry.
Yes, ma'am.
Jyoti, where are you going?
Inquiry.
You'll also go inquiry. Khushbu?
Yeah.
Maths, ma'am.
Math. Okay. Tasmin?
English.
English. Vijayalakshmi?
Inquiry task, ma'am.
Oh, so we have only 1 math and 1 English. It's
I-
fine, right? If you're alone?
I can go for math.
Okay,
I can
Jyoti.
go for
Yeah, I
math.
can actually go for anything. So math is also fine.
Okay, I'm just opening. Even if you are 1, you do the task. We will discuss then. Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm opening up all rooms, 10 minutes, and I will take a screenshot of this also and I'll put it on the WhatsApp. Okay? All right. Gayatri, where you want to join?
I want to go for the reading ATL.
Okay, reading English. Jyoti?
I'll go for math.
Okay, math. Tasmin? She's gone. Tasmin, where do you want to go? She's gone. Okay. So we have 1 minute 20 seconds. So right now, the participants are in breakout session, and they are so they are discussing about these questions. So yeah, I have given them some data. Oh, welcome back.
Am I audible?
Okay, so what discussion
Okay.
did you have?
Can I start one?
Yes. So you all
So
were which one? Inquiry, na?
inquiry,
Ah,
yes,
okay, okay.
the
So
inquiry
the
one.
first one was about main ideas student understand.
Yes, so after the data that we have analyzed, that was provided by you, what we came across was that we were able to understand how to gather data.
Okay.
The data gathering was much easier for them in terms of working with others, in terms of creating a questionnaire, surveys to gather data, or like creating a question bank where the participants will respond. So that is something they have done well, as well as in terms of some basic ideas like fact finding, knowledge part. So like the lots part, if you see the knowledge part, they have done well in terms of
Okay.
right, like okay, like yes or no. What are the like basic ideas? Where they have struggled is like, I mean, uh, how can we fix any wrong ideas, right? So
Okay.
here, I think analyzing the data, what we have come across is that they need to look at the varied examples of recycling, the start product, the end product, how it goes through, what are the steps involved, right? Examples. We need to have varied examples such as how do you, how does the plastic gets recycled, or how does the uh, say human hair gets recycled to create something. The mammoth tasks get like the elephant task gets recycled
Mm.
create something into a byproduct or a end product. Now there are two different byproduct and end product.
Okay.
And also like clarifying some basic concepts like wherever how does a plant grow? That is something that they have struggled in. So how can we fix any wrong areas? So some kind of reiteration, some kind of revisiting the concepts, recapitulation can work on this. Coming to the
Okay.
third question, what learning skills need to be better? Uh, Looking at the data, interpretation, data analysis, and the real world application. Like whatever concept they have come across, how do they apply it to the real world scenario, right? What are the modifications required if if there are any to be required to apply the real world case studies in their own learning and interpretation and the data analysis because they're good at data collection, but when it comes to data analysis and then interpreting it, concluding it, they have somewhere struggled in. So that is the
Okay.
responses that I have given, means we have given.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Debjyoti. I will share with you the sample insights from the data analysis that Gamma has given. Okay. The AI has given. Okay. Next group.
We can talk about it,
Okay.
Matt.
Okay.
Yes, Ms.
Yeah.
Jyoti, you have written, you can continue.
Yeah. So the first one was what patterns we have noticed. We have seen that students can do the simple calculations, but they always get stuck when the problem has many steps. So we got to know that when the questions are tricky, or there is a lot of words given, or a lot of reading is there in the question, like example, the what do you call it, word problems, then the children are making more mistakes.
Okay.
And we can say that some students also rush because of the time. So
Conceptual
they're making the
understanding, we can say
careless
that they are
errors.
facing.
Yeah, conceptual
Okay.
understanding is not good. Why this is happening, when we talk about it, we can say that students are not always using the same strategy. They're not using the same strategy all
Hello?
the time. Sometimes they're just guessing. Sometimes they just skip the step, or maybe we can say that they are inconsistent.
Okay.
And one part was about the vocabulary. So we can say that math vocabulary is also a problem.
So language
if I say
differences.
the language differences, if I say the word, I can say that children are having the difficulty in understanding what is compare, what is evaluate, or maybe what is estimate. So that confuses them.
Okay.
And we can say that if the problem is multi-steps, then we can say it's kind of overwhelming for them, because the students sometimes forget steps, or maybe they're mixing up the things because too much information in one question.
Okay.
Yeah. Then what we can change in our teaching, I mean, though I'm not a math teacher, but still I can say that
Okay.
we can show
I think
strategies
we
step
can
by
use
step.
that differentiated teaching.
Yeah, differentiated group of,
Hello?
we can create the differentiated group.
Yeah.
And then we can support the students based on that group needs. So basically, if one group can focus on the vocabulary, so that we can improve their vocabulary in math, or maybe we can give them the pre-vocabulary sheet so that they can work on their vocabulary before the class.
Okay.
Or we can use more of the visuals or the diagrams.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
here
that because
in
not all the learners are, I don't remember the name, but not all the learners are that theory types. Some of them are visual learners. So it's easy for them to learn through the diagrams and the visuals.
Okay. Right. I will share again the analysis that was done by AI with you. The last group,
Okay.
English.
Gayatri, do
Reading?
you want to carry on? Gayatri? Okay, Ms. Ashika, I will try.
Okay.
So for reading, what
Sorry,
we
sorry.
noticed
My
was
phone.
that visualizing.
Okay.
Yes,
Sorry,
Gayatri, would you
my
carry
phone
on,
was
please?
creating issue.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, if you would like, would you like me to do that?
Fine.
Either ways.
Yes,
Okay.
please. You can.
Okay, so we were actually, we started talking about the first question, and then we delved deeper so much in it that, we didn't have much time left to discuss the second and third question. So maybe we can just discuss it here,
Yeah.
as we talk about it. So we started talking about, looking at just the data, and we saw that, very clearly there were students who were moving, two levels, like one level up. Like two students were moving one level up, like at grade level, at the end of the unit, there was two students moving up, and above grade level also there were two students moving up. So that was a very evident data. Then we looked at how visualizing really helped, and so we dug deeper into what would visualization actually look like, or could look like in that classroom. What are the different ways teachers have done visualizing before, through the definitions, and a lot of other ways. And then we were quite surprised to see connecting, because essentially visualizing also is one way to build connections for learners. But we were quite surprised to see that only 35% of the students, use this strategy, and, improved through that. But predicting, it stood out strong for us. And, questioning, of course, it has always, the data also says that it shows and shows improvement. And so it did here as well. Which strategies needed more help, like connecting definitely, and questioning would need more help maybe. And then how useful was a self check? I don't think we discussed that though. How useful was a self check? But I guess if we have to dig deeper on how to build questioning and how to build connecting in the classroom, and probably how visualizing and connecting can be related. to build effective systems where students can visualize what they are learning through connection of to the self, to others, and to the world. I think that would really help and improve. And to answer, I'm not sure how to answer the final question.
Self-check usefulness? What was it? What was the final question?
Yeah, the final question was how useful would be the self check. And I think in English per se, definitely self and peer assessments are useful, but providing the success criteria to students would really help them to skim through and understand their own space, and what they are learning and how have they improved from before.
Hmm. Hmm.
Miss
Tasneem,
Ashika,
would you
may
like
I?
to add? Sorry.
Yes, I would like, sorry, I would like to add for peer-to-peer assessment and self-assessment. It would be wonderful after they've completed the session for reading, we can have a checklist or a rubric for peer-to-peer assessment at some point and self-assessment at some point, so that they reflect on how they've learned. This will give an idea to the teacher how she can improve her instruction process and also bring out the awareness within the students. And peer-to-peer interaction will even increase, which, the agency is always very powerful in the classroom. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. So thank you for your discussion, whatever you have discussed, and presenting it here. Now I will show you what the AI had written the answers, okay? Because I had asked AI to give me the insights. So for mathematics, like you rightly said, the patterns that was noticed were that many students found it hard to solve word problems. Okay, and especially with fractions that have many steps. They could do the simpler ones, but the ones that had many steps, they were hard. They found it hard to solve. Okay. Now, what could be the causes of performance differences is that students who do better often truly understand fractions, while others they just remember the steps without knowing why those steps are there. Okay, and also because these are word problems, maybe language difference. Okay, they could be students with ESL, English as a second language, and therefore they are finding it hard to answer those word problems, specifically word problems. So what can you change in your teaching, because this is the data that you have got, right? The analysis of the data that you have done. So what could you do? You can, like Jyoti, you rightly said, you can give them more pictures and you can give them more real life examples. Okay, and
Yeah,
also
I remember your lesson.
and also you can break down word problems into simpler, smaller steps, and clearly teach them how to solve those problems, right? So yes, whatever you have given insights, that means you know how to use data to improve the instructions. But I really hope that you actually do it in your classes where you analyze your data. Okay, after you have finished a certain portion of your content or the teaching that you have done in class. Okay. The second one was on reading. Um, it is very clear from the progress that students, they are good at summarizing short texts after reading, which means that they understand the text better. Okay. Now, what are the strategies needing to support? Students still find, they still struggle to find the main idea if the texts are longer or harder. So they need help that time. So what you need to do as an English teacher is that give them more practice with writing notes and give them critical questions, critical thinking questions. Okay, so that will help them. Another thing about self-check usefulness, self-check is a bit helpful, but then there may be students who think that they understood more. Okay, so we will have to give them, like you said, Gayatri, you will have to give them some examples and you will have to show them how to use self-check. Okay, so that is the strategy that you could use in the English class. And about the inquiry project, Yes, Debjyoti, the students generally understand the basic ideas, okay, and how living things depend on each other. And how do you know it? Because they can point out producers, consumers, and decomposers. So then you know that, okay, main ideas are clear. But how are we going to fix the wrong ideas? What is a common wrong idea that is there? That everything that human does to nature is bad. Okay, and some students didn't think that there are good ways that humans can also help. Okay, so for removing this wrong idea, you will have to give examples of good human actions. What do humans do in order to save the ecosystem? And what are the learning skills that are developed? Students, they are now better at finding and gathering information. You did say this, okay? However, they still need to improve at putting the information from different places together, okay? And clearly write what they have found. So that is missing. So you can focus on that. So did you get an idea of how you can use the different data that is there in order to improve your teaching learning? What all strategies you need to use further so that learning becomes better for your students? Yeah. All right.
Yes.
1 minute. So this is the sample insights which I read through, and I have shared it on the WhatsApp group also. Okay. Now, what are the different strategies that you're going to try? You can use flexible grouping. You can create skill-based groups. You can create interest-based groups. You can create mixed ability groups. Okay. Based on the data, in order to target the different specific needs, then you can create different groups. This is one strategy. Another strategy is having learning conversations. Have structured conversations about the progress and about their goals. So you can have individual talks, conferences with the students, or you can have small group discussions. You may also have the peer feedback sessions that will help. Okay. And what kind of feedback loops can we use? There should be regular practice of giving feedback. Okay. And revision of whatever has been taught. And when you're giving feedback, the feedback has to be specific and actionable. You can't say just very good, okay. Okay. You write down exactly what they have done right, or what they are supposed to do in order to get anything right. Also, student self-assessment is also a good feedback, and give them opportunities in the class so that they can apply feedback. Another strategy is adjusting your unit. Once you get the data and you have analyzed it, how will you modify instruction? What will you do? You need to reteach key concepts. So in the previous year, in this particular data that I had given, over here, you may have to reteach by giving more pictures and real life examples for the math class. Okay. Here you may have to reteach them how to self-check. Okay. And here you may have to reteach them how to put information in proper places. Okay, so can you see where there are opportunities for reteaching? So you may reteach. Also, you can help them deep dive to extend their thinking. And you could use other ways to learn. Like in the maths one, I told you, right? Over there, you can show pictures and give them real life experiences. So that would be a different way to learn the mathematics. And you should remember that the most effective strategies are that respond directly to the specific needs that are identified in your assessment data. So whatever you have identified, so here is a chance in this over here. These are specific changes that you need to do in your teaching and learning so that students can fulfill their learning outcomes. Okay. So now, what is the action plan? What will you do from tomorrow? Okay. Number one is you identify the evidence. What specific data will you collect? Okay, what data are you going to collect in your classrooms from tomorrow? You will have formative assessments, different student work samples, the worksheets that they do, the observations that you have in the classroom, the reflections that the students write. Okay, so the main question is, what evidence will give me the most useful insights? Okay, out of these, what evidence will give me the most useful insight that I need to change instruction? Okay, so after getting all your samples, then what will you do? Look for patterns. Okay, and what is the guiding question for this particular step? What story is the data telling me? What is it telling me? What trends or what patterns is it showing? What strengths are being shown by your students? Okay, or what are the weaknesses or what are the needs that you need to observe? Okay, so what are you looking for patterns? You are looking at misconceptions. You are looking at skill gaps. Are there any gaps in the skill that you're teaching? Okay, are there any learning preferences? Do students learn better through visual or hands-on or auditory? Okay, and what is the growth over time? So how have they improved? Okay, so this step 2 is about looking for patterns. These are the patterns that you need to see. Now, after you have got the patterns, what will you do? You decide the next steps. What instructional moves will address the patterns? In order to improve these patterns, okay, how do I respond effectively that to what I have learned about my students? Okay, are you going to do targeted interventions for students? Uh, how much of differentiated activities are you going to do? Okay, are you going to revise? Okay, or do you need new resources or supports? Does it need to be scaffolded? Do you need a support for the student? Okay, so you decide the next steps. What instructional moves will you do? And last is about planning monitoring. How will you track the impact of the actions? And because you have made these changes in step 3, okay, how are you going to track it? How will you track the impact? Because of these, there has been improvement in your students. There has been progress in your student learning. How will you do? How will you know? What you will do is you will have follow-up assessments. You will get student feedback. Also, observation, look at the data again. Okay, and you document all the changes that have taken place. If you feel that, okay, the student has improved in the learning, then you document it. Okay. So now, this was about the data that I have given you. Now, how are you going to apply it in your classroom? Okay. You will bring your own data tomorrow. You can go select a recent assessment that you have done, maybe the end of semester assessment, or maybe a formative assessment that you have taken recently. Okay. Or observation notes that you have made, and look at analyzing that data. So think about what form of data did you choose? Why is this particular data meaningful to you? And what are the patterns do you notice in this data? And after you have noticed the pattern, you fill the action plan. Okay. What is the specific evidence that you are examining? Document the patterns that you observe. Decide on the next steps you are going to do in order to rectify whatever you have seen in the pattern. Okay, and then you plan on how are you going to monitor the impact. How will you know that because you have changed the instructional approach, students have learned better? So how are you going to monitor it? Okay, yeah, Jyoti.
So while applying these things in the classroom, we can change the action plan accordingly as many times as we want, right?
Yes,
because it's not going to be the same for each and every class or every time, right?
Correct. Correct.
Because sometimes it happens that whatever the strategy we have used one time doesn't work with the another batch.
Correct.
So we just change our teaching strategy and then we can make a new action plan for that.
Right. True.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let's go to our reflection, okay, for today's session. Okay, I want you to write, I used to think, whatever, please don't copy from here. Okay, I used to think, now I think. Okay, write it in the chat. in your chat, write your reflection. I used to think, now I think. That is your reflection for today. Yeah, anybody wants to share?
I'm done.
Okay, say what you have written so that
So
the
before I
people
used to
who are
think that,
on live can hear about your reflection.
okay. So before I used to think that the assessment, either the formative or the summative, whatever we are taking in the class, is mainly about checking that who is doing well and who is not doing well in class. But now, after this session, I think that it helps me understand that how actually students are thinking and where they are getting stuck. That is more important than just focusing on the assessment. Thank you.
We have to think about the learning outcomes, whether we have achieved our learning objectives and the students have achieved their learning outcomes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Debjyoti?
Yeah, ma'am. So I think the first one, my key takeaway about what I used to think was that we look data whenever we see data, I think we look at from the standpoint that it's a quantitative one, right? Where we look at numbers, right? Like out of 100, out of 50. But here, whatever data we have come across is qualitative one. It's not a quantitative one. It's a qualitative data, right? So the medium of analysis will be different. It will require more amount of time as compared to analyzing a quantitative data, and that gives maybe like far more insights in terms of the quality of their work, which goes into the final nuances of so many things that they are supposed to know and supposed to deliver whenever they are going through some kind of assessments. So that is one part, one aspect of it. And the second part is like the common notion happens to be that okay, you do a data analysis whenever you have a summative assessment being done as against a formative assessment, right? So like they're all formatives. How much we do when we are having a formative assessment, like we go to the drawing room back and then we check the formatives, how much they have done. That is something we usually don't do, maybe because of time constraints and so many other things. So this is particularly talking about the entire part is about formative assessments and not about a year-end exam or like a semester exam or trimester exam. So that's where my key takeaways are as compared to previous learning, current learning.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your share. Who wants to share? Tazmin, you want to share?
Yes, please. Thank you. So in terms of reading, I do end up with many students who struggle with reading. So my focus always comes first into how they are reading phonetically, to make sure that the phonics is in good place. Because okay, they start from very young, but sometimes I'm with students of year 3 whom I'm working on that with. So in the process, I didn't realize that all these areas should be considered also. It becomes difficult, but you see, as you get on with the student and make the student get used to that culture, it builds in naturally even for the student. So, for example, making connections. Making connections. So yes, we'll slow down by just reading, but this way even it'll make the student feel more interested in what the student is reading.
Okay. So this was a useful session for you, Tasmi?
Very much. Very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Vijay Lakshmi, would you want to share your reflection?
Yes, ma'am. Um, as I learned that before I thinking that FA and SA only for the improvement of for the children, but now I know that how can we use differentiate instructions to make them means know better know the subject.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's not just for assessment of learning to know how much they have learned, but it is the same data can be used how we can teach better.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Khushbu?
Yes, ma'am. So that's the same point I want to share, that definitely not for the formative or summative, any like on the spot, how I'm going to ask them. Are you able to understand the concept? Even my way of asking, how they are answering that, yes, we understand this step or not. From there also we can analyze and we can make the changes on daily basis so that our process will be clear, will not face any problem on daily basis, or like any at any step we can analyze that why the students are facing problem in a particular thing, so we can do analysis in that.
Thank you. Thank you for the share. So this was the 1 minute. This was the earlier slide. So take a moment, okay? Consider how your thinking about assessment has evolved, and you can also, what you can do is share one specific action that you plan to take in your classroom. So what are you planning to take in your classroom tomorrow? People who want to share? After this session, see, main thing is attending a session, knowing it. Okay, that is 2 things achieved. Okay, very good. Miss Ashika gave a very nice session. I liked it. Okay, I'm happy that you have learned something. Secondly, is that okay, I have learned something. Now, the third step is how I'm going to implement it. So, what is the action that you're going to take from tomorrow after learning about how to use data to improve instruction?
Miss Ashika,
Yes.
okay, reading is reading, but now I'll become more conscientious that as I'm training the child about reading, I'll even make sure I follow up with the inquiry cycle.
Thank you. Thank you,
It
Tasbih.
becomes a natural culture. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? What are you going to do from tomorrow to improve so that you can use data to improve instruction?
I would like to talk about MYP. Is it okay?
Yeah, Jyoti.
I think in my MYP class, though I always start the class with the MYP design cycle, but I'm thinking now that I will try teaching the vocabulary first, more in the class before I start the task, because I can see that whatever we had learned today, it really affects the performance, specifically to the kids who are not familiarized with the language. So I think I can say even a 2-minute or 1.5-minute vocabulary warm-up can make the activities easier for the kids. This is what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. Tajmeen, you have something to say in addition.
Miss Ashika, may I add to what Jyoti just said?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher for IELTS and and English. So the best thing to help them with the language is empower them with the vocabulary. So Jyoti's idea is very good that if she starts, the technical vocabulary is always very difficult and English is not our first language.
Yes.
So that would really help.
And also, all teachers are language teachers according to the IB.
According to IB.
Yes.
So you have your evidence of showing how you are a language teacher when you are going to teach the vocabulary of your subject, right?
Thank you,
Okay.
Miss Tasmin.
Devjyoti, you had something to say?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So I think I will focus more on gathering qualitative data rather than being only in the Excel sheet and the numbers, right? So qualitative data is something which is much more required because after an exam, whatever we come across is mostly quantitative, like summative assessments, if I be precise. But after formatives, I think this shift is required from being quantitative to the qualitative part. You
Yeah.
just go beyond the numbers. That is where the real magic lies. Is where you can.
So I remember one of my teachers. I'm happy to share her name, Tracy. Okay, she is the DP coordinator at EduBridge. What she used to do is that with her grade 10 students, she used to teach humanities also. So whenever she analyzed her summative assessment test, so then she used to put the question there and write down the answers of the students. Okay, and then you have the actual answer, the expected answer, and then she used to write over there what is missing and what is, where the student has missed, or is there a misconception. Okay, so right now it is very easy with AI. What you can do is you can upload it on Notebook LM. Okay, because that is your specific data, and then you can ask it. Okay, you can upload the student work, you can upload the marking scheme, and then you can ask Notebook LM to analyze, and then you can upload the whole thing as a notebook together. Okay, all the student work, because you can choose the different sources and ask them questions, right? So when you choose all the students, and then you can say, give me a class analysis, what is the pattern observed, what needs to be taught, you just put over there, it will give you the answer.
Right.
The job is very easily done. Shortcut, fatafat. So you can use it. Okay, so you don't have to sit and actually do all the things and write, and it is less of work now because of
Right.
AI. So you should know how to make proper use of the AI also for your benefit, so that you can, focus more on teaching than doing all the other jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Vijay Lakshmi, you want to say something?
Yeah, ma'am, as I already told you that I will use differentiate instructions to those children who really needs that. So
Okay.
I will use this one. So break the things for them. They are very difficult to understand.
So what, again, you can use the Gemini tool over there, put your task sheet over there, and you can ask if my student is not understanding, has less ability, or does not understand, then how can I scaffold this task? That is called scaffolding. Okay,
Okay.
the strategy is called scaffolding. So could you scaffold this particular task? Gemini will do it for you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Jyoti, you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add for what Miss Vijayalakshmi said. We can use Magic School also. It works great for PYP, especially. I mean, it is
So
not.
yeah, one thing.
Yeah,
So
so it
I
is.
just want to know that as I'm teaching Hindi, it will work in Hindi as well. Magic School.
Okay, I have no idea about Hindi, but you could try. But Magic School is really doing wonders for PYP teachers. Because it is
Vijayalakshmi,
not.
you can use, sorry, I'm interrupting you. You can use Gemini
No
over there,
problem.
because Gemini is
Yeah,
a
Gemini.
Google tool, so it will translate and it will give you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Khushbu?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm not able to speak that much. My small kid is with me and he's interrupting in between. That's why I was quiet.
Okay.
So again and again, you. Okay. Yeah, definitely, ma'am. I'm going to do tomorrow that. Yes, I'm going to break the things so that, yes, instead of completing everything, I'll break down and I'll first understand what is the top priority to
Okay, again,
conclude from that. Yes.
scaffolding. You will use the strategy
Yes,
of
scaffold.
scaffolding.
Yes.
Okay, all
Yes,
right.
yes.
So thank you. Let me just finish the last part. So data is a tool for growth, not judgment. Okay, that's the final thing that I would like to say, my closing message. And thank you all for participating in today's session. Okay, and I hope that this was useful. And please remember that the purpose of collecting and analyzing data is always to better support your students' growth and development. Okay, I encourage you to start small. You don't need to do everything and this. Focus on one area where you can use the data to inform your practice and make that small change. And as you go towards uh, making these changes, you will see that there is definitely a progress in your student work, okay, and student performance. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. And because I just put over there and then I had like so many people saying that, okay, we want to come and we want to come. So thank you for being the risk taker and coming in over here. Though I said that, okay, we will be doing interactive work. There were others who said that they wanted to join, but you are the true risk takers who have come in at short notice for this session. So thank you so much.
Thank you very
And
much.
yeah, people, those who are watching live, please do share, like, subscribe, comment on the on this particular live